Howdy. I'm Nick. This is Oscar.
Oscar.
Got the boys in the back, Dave and Dom. We're heading into one of our secret spots. And we're going to go find some food from nature. Go do a little foraging and see what we can find. And then we're going to whip up a little first-class meal and see what happens. What are we looking for today, Oscar?
We're going to be looking for white chanterelles, probably yellow chanterelles, king boletes.
Yeah. Otherwise known as porcinis or ceps or
huckleberries,
and
wild ginger.
Whatever else decides to hop into our bags. There's a bounty of miracles out here, and we're gonna see what happens. So I think we're somewhere in eastern Montana. I'm just not sure right now. I've been driving for at least 15, 20 minutes. We're gonna find some mushrooms here in a little bit. You can feel the excitement in the air. At least my excitement. Hang on. Don't be scared. Poison. Take a sniff on that. On the root. What does that smell like?
It smells good.
Yeah, it's wild ginger.
You know, the coral mushrooms? Mm-hmm. I have found like clusters of coral so thick when they first pop. A lot. One year there were so many here, the whole field was full. Yeah, that's what these are.
That's like solid gold. Yeah. See that, bud? Look at that magic. You see the little gills? But they don't go all the way down like a regular gill mushroom. Right there, that's solid gold. Awesome.
The yellow chanterelles.
Yeah, I believe it. And then with the hemlock, you're gonna have lion's mane too.
Something, you know, we can film a little something. But look, all this spot right here, is usually fall. Well, yellow chanterelles. This is my only spot where I find my yellow chanterelles.
That's crazy. And you got deer rubs.
So here, you can see
Get
all these.
a picture of this.
And I pick only the big ones and leave the small ones.
Yeah.
And I'll come back
And get another harvest.
and then another harvest of the big ones. And I usually don't like to come early because I'm gonna pick them.
Yeah.
So I like to wait until they're a little bigger
Nice
so I
and
can
big
get
and-
yeah. So they're big.
Nice and big and juicy.
Yeah.
Delicious.
But I mean, here's some for sure. See?
Oh yeah. A lot of them are still kind of small.
Yeah. I usually like to leave the little ones out, and then when you're picking, you want to make sure be out. So I usually don't take them all in one time.
Yeah. Yeah, generally I'll leave at least a couple no matter what.
Oh yeah, I usually like the older ones or big ones. But see, look at these beauties.
Yeah, that is fantastic. No worms, nothing.
No, these. And the thing is, they're usually they don't have worms because up here it's a little more cold.
It's colder.
It's higher
been
altitude.
It's been getting in the 40s at night here. Well, that's a pretty cool spot. I keep waiting to see a lion's mane on all these hemlocks.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Got little tiny guys. Oh, and huckleberry. Never. Look at that. Like little treasures. Yep. Couple little dinks. I'll probably just leave those, let them grow up to adulthood, and then take them right before they experience their full lifespan. You don't want to be walking around with the open knife. Well, sometimes you're picking mushrooms, but you have to take a minute and just enjoy what you got. We got mountain blueberry, which generally don't last very long. And then one of my favorites, thimbleberry. And they call it thimble because it kind of looks like a thimble. And this little rascal is super tasty. It's kind of like a cross between a raspberry and a mango, I think. A little seedy, but delicious. Love those thimbleberries.
Can you tell where the mushrooms are at, Nick?
For the bumps.
See right there? That bump right there? You see it?
Yep. Voila. Another one right there. And I'm standing on one. So that's one of the things is when you see one, before you go tromping around, look around, because like right where you're standing, look right here. What do you see? It's just a little bump, right? It doesn't look like anything. But now, you pop that,
And the reason,
and it's magic.
and here's another one. Look,
Look at that,
another
guys.
one.
Awesome. The average guy would just walk right past it. Like, look right here. Doesn't look like anything until you open it up. And it's like a whole bunch of little people. And here's one thing that I like to do, is once you get done picking,
You want to cover it back up.
close that back up. So next year they'll come back to the same spot. And maybe there'll be some mushrooms here.
And the reason they haven't come out either is because it rained a lot and then it's getting warm. So it wasn't enough rain for them to come all the way out. So like this, yeah, we just cover these up.
And I'm only going to take the really nice.
See? And then, so I got a few here. I saw a couple more here. See these? Cover that back up. They're here, all over the place. Let me pick these up.
We'll leave that in there. So, yep, here's more. He's good. Let's keep going.
So sometimes you don't even really see them until you stumble on them. So it's like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see this? You look at this and you're like, there ain't nothing there. And then there is 5, 6. Oh yeah. So sometimes I just go like this. I like to leave that bottom part.
A lot of ants in there.
Here you go. Leave a little something for the critters. You just step, I think you're on it. I'm gonna need a bigger bucket. But that's a good problem. And like you see this one here? So like I harvested these two. Look at that little button. So sometimes I'll just leave that last one. Leave something for the critters. Leave something to come up. That's a good crop.
I wanted to check, you know, the road that I told you about.
Well, pretty good day for a quick little trip out in the brush. We got a bunch of white chanterelles, a bunch of orange chanterelles, some huckleberries. So a lot of times, I just keep them dry. But when you're gonna cook them right away, there we go. I'll actually got something else going on with that. What day ever is dark?
The dandelions you gotta wash.
Yeah. That one's got some nice color.
Fresh Swiss chard.
And then you got the Italian parsley over there.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. You want to grab one beet leaf, just for a little color. Perfect.
You want some sage?
Yeah, we better grab. Oh yeah.
Fresh sage. How about some chives? Chive tops. We'll grab some from the bottom. You grab a few tops.
Welcome to Wild Kitchen. I'm Nick,
And these Oscar.
and we're gonna make a little something today. We were out foraging in our local area, and we have this bounty in front of us. So we've got some yellow chanterelles, some white chanterelles. We've got some halibut that my son Dom caught in
Fresh
Alaska.
cut.
Some venison that we harvested last year, fortunate enough to harvest. And then we have all kinds of other wonderful things. So we found some wild huckleberries today,
All the berries.
some beautiful elderberries, some thyme and oregano from my garden, and then from Oscar's garden, we've got all kinds of beautiful herbs, sage, and we got the basil, chives, garlic.
Swiss chard.
So we've got all kinds of treasures that we're going to be able to use today. Horseradish,
Horseradish tops.
and we've got even some dandelion leaf here that we're going to incorporate into the salad. So we've got all kinds of wonderful things, and the wild provided us all. Okay, so we've got a couple dishes that we're going to talk about a little bit here. So we're going to be working with some halibut, and then we'll make some corn succotash. We've got a nice corn and homegrown cherry tomatoes with edamame, and some mustard greens. And then we're also going to be doing a nice light salad with some fresh picked huckleberries, and we'll garnish it off with some homemade salmon caviar and see how that shakes out.
So we're doing another dish, which is fresh venison harvested by my buddy Nick last season. It's gonna have fresh herbs, which is fresh thyme, parsley, sage, and we're gonna do a reduction with elderberries and red wine reduction, and also we're gonna do some fresh toasted walnuts on top. Let's go.
Different presentations. I'm going to try and work on the halibut. Oscar's going to try and work on the venison. Hopefully I don't steal all his ingredients and he doesn't steal all mine, but if it happens, it happens. So Oscar, is part of his menu, he's going to be working on the wine, but like any wine, you can't just cook with it. So we're going to make sure that it's okay.
We just taste to make sure the bottle is not spoiled.
You got to make sure that yeah, that'll work. Okay, so here we go. We got all kinds of great ingredients. Our fantastic camera guys are going to be asking us questions as we go, but we got our own separate ways of doing things, so hopefully I don't cut myself. If I cut myself, just finish the deal for me, okay? Okay, so I'm going to be working with a little bit of garlic here. That's some fine smelling garlic. Not a lot to start out with.
Seasoning our venison. I'm going to do a little bit of garlic salt. Kind of taste from
So we're going to get this, start a little reduction of white balsamic dressing, or balsamic. We'll let that go for a little bit. Turn that down a little bit. Steal some of Oscar's butter. Okay. Now, well, that's starting to reduce. I add the corn and the chives. And we'll let this go for a little bit on a medium heat. these tomatoes very lightly. Not too small. But you notice when you look at these tomatoes, they're not like the absolute perfect tomatoes at the store. Because these tomatoes are packed full of wild flavor.
Berry reduction. We're also adding a little bit of rhubarb. And we're gonna toast some walnuts to finish our dish as well.
I didn't see that. I'm gonna steal some. I'm gonna. All right, he saw it. All right. So
late May.
Late May. So in this area, the snow starts leaving around February, March.
But you can't plant anything until early June.
Yep, the old timers used to tell me until all the snow is off the mountain, which is usually about early June. Okay. You always get mommy in here. Now that this is reduced down, you can start to see that it's starting to get a little bit brown
Use extra virgin olive oil.
on the edges. And as it starts to reduce down, the corn starts to cook. The garlic starts taking on a really nice golden color. And it creates a sauce. The starch from the corn starts to reduce this down into a sauce that is actually really nice. So at this point, I'm going to put in the edamame. I don't want to overcook it.
Well, the citrus fruit too.
Oh yeah. So I think I want a little bit more here. I'm going to turn this up. Seems like maybe you need to do something a little bit different. I think I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. Let's see. Oh, that's got a nice color. And you can start to smell it. It's really... Okay, so I'm gonna
Just sear any meat you don't
prep
want
a
to
little
keep
bit.
it
Put this nice halibut in here. And you can hear it already start to sputter. Some of these pieces are a little bit thinner. We'll have to adjust that accordingly.
So venison is getting a nice color. I want to get as much color as possible on one side before I turn it over. I'm going to turn it over and just finish it in the end. I don't want to turn it over until I'm almost ready to finish the venison. As soon as I turn it, it's gonna be finished. And then I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of butter, but I don't want my blender at highest speed. I want a low speed. And I'm gonna finish it. Perfect.
A little bit of salt.
And that's about it. Move my
Okay, so the halibut is
going now.
very, very close to being done. And I still have a little bit of more time to go with some of the other things. So I just turned it off and I'm letting this side go. And then right before we get ready to plate, I'll give it a quick flip and it'll be cooked all the way through and it'll be absolutely delicious. Pretty good.
Black pepper.
Every once in a while, you got to check it out. Okay, so the succotash is almost done. So we have this nice oil here, and we're going to end up using that because it's got all these flavors incorporated into it. But here in a little bit, I'm going to separate this, and we'll actually utilize this oil for the rest of our Swiss chard and our mustard greens. So we'll do that right before service. You can see that the halibut is almost done. Each of these lines is starting to separate. That's the muscle tissue starting to come apart. These little pieces are actually completely done. So we're very close to serving. Believe it or not, dandelions from your yard are actually a fantastic food source. So when they're clean and they're young, they're actually a pretty tasty salad green, believe it or not. So I'm gonna have some of this that I'm gonna save for the salad portion, and then the rest of this will be a saute of regular balsamic vinegar, just a hint. So the heat's off, got a little reduction. We're about ready on that. Okay, so the last little bit, I've got those beautiful cherry tomatoes in there. The pan's still warm, it's got a little bit of oil reduction in there. And we'll just do a light toss. We're from the succotash. I may as well just use it all. Okay, I think we are ready to go here. So I'll put a little bit of that right on the side. Maybe a little bit more color. All right.
Yeah.
We'll give it
How
just
big
a
of a
little,
spoon?
just a tiny one for the. There we go. And we'll finish it off with a little bit of the caviar. Voila.
Cheers to the first episode
Wild
of
America.
Wild Kitchen.
Wild Kitchen. Right in your backyard.